It was supposed to be a quiet weekend. That Friday night, my wife Anna and I had finally finished sealing the new porch steps. The smell of cedar still hung in the air when we turned in for the night. We'd spent the last few months turning our cabin into our forever escape 3 acres of pine-covered heaven tucked in the Blue Ridge foothills, far away from city noise, office politics, and especially nosy neighbors, or so we thought. See, when we bought the place, the realtor mentioned that the HOA had dissolved 5 years back due to legal and management complications. That should have been the end of it. No fees, no rules, just peace. But then came Janice. Every neighborhood has a Janice. Ours just happened to live 3 cabins down in a pretentiously decorated A-frame with flag bunting and a yard full of fake geese and bonnets. Janice was the self-declared interim enforcer of what she liked to call the neighborhood code, even though there was no official HOA anymore. That didn't stop her from printing out notices of non-compliance on a cheap inkjet and stuffing them into people's mailboxes like some kind of lawless postmaster. Most of us just rolled our eyes and ignored her. But last month, Janice took things to a new level. She showed up uninvited on our porch with a clipboard and a plastic badge that looked like it came from a Halloween costume set. Claimed she was there for an emergency site inspection due to possible architectural violations. Anna told her to get off our property. Janice huffed, flailed some papers around, muttered something about being the only thing standing between us and neighborhood chaos, and eventually left. We figured that was the end of it. We were wrong. That Saturday morning started like any other. Coffee brewing, the dog stretching by the fire, birds chirping just outside the open kitchen window. But then gravel crunched under tires. Anna looked at me over her mug. "You expecting anyone?" "Nope." I glanced at the front monitor. We had cameras set up around the property, nothing fancy. Just enough to keep an eye on deer, raccoons, and the occasional delivery guy who couldn't find the driveway. But this wasn't a delivery. It was Janice. She'd pulled up in her rusted-out Subaru again. That ridiculous HOA enforcement magnet barely hanging onto the door. Her sunglasses were oversized, her lipstick bright pink, and her posture screamed one thing: power trip. I stepped onto the porch just in time to hear her yell from her car window. "I'm here on official inspection business." "You're in violation!" Anna was already at the top of the steps, arms crossed. "Violation of what, Janice?" she asked calmly. Janice got out of the car, waving a rolled-up document. Cabin Code Section 14B, unauthorized wood stain and failure to submit architectural review forms for porch modifications. "There is no cabin code," Anna replied. "There's no HOA." Janice ignored her and started walking up the path like she owned the place. Anna moved fast, blocking her halfway up the gravel trail. "Stop right there. You are trespassing." Janice's nostrils flared. "I have the authority to inspect properties under community regulations." "Printed by who?" Anna asked, nodding at the laminated ID badge hanging around Janice's neck. "You? Your nephew? A cereal box?" Janice puffed up. "You can't stop me. I'll call the sheriff. You'll be cited and fined." And that's when Anna smiled. "Funny," she said, pulling a document from her back pocket. "We already called them." Janice squinted at the paper. Her face paled. It was a warrant. Not for us. For her. Janice blinked. What is this?" "That," Anna said, stepping forward, "is a bench warrant issued in Jefferson County for trespassing, impersonating a public official, and fraud." Right on cue, flashing lights bounced off the pine trees as a sheriff's cruiser pulled up behind her. Subaru Janice spun around, mouth flapping. "Wait, this is ridiculous. I'm a respected figure. I'm the HOA president." The deputy stepped out calmly. "Ma'am, there is no HOA here. And you've been warned multiple times about unlawful conduct on private property. You are Janice R. Hightower, born June 3rd, 1965. Janice's voice dropped to a whimper. "Yes, but..." The deputy didn't let her finish. Please place your hands where I can see them. She hesitated, then did it. Her hands trembled. I have a lawyer, she shouted. I was only protecting the community. This is harassment. No, ma'am, the deputy said as he gently took her arm. This is the law catching up to you. Anna and I stood silently as he read her rights. Janice didn't fight, but she glared at us with a venom I won't forget. You set me up, she hissed. No, Anna said, voice cold. You set yourself up. We just let the law do its job. As the cruiser pulled away, the forest felt heavier. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was uneasy. Because something about her reaction didn't sit right with me. That kind of paranoia, that didn't come from being embarrassed. That came from guilt. That afternoon, I walked down the hill to get some air. Janice's cabin was quiet. Too quiet. I wasn't going to snoop, I swear. But when I passed the edge of her property and saw her shed door flapping open in the breeze, I hesitated, then I heard it, a loud thunk. Then a crash. Someone was inside. Stepped back and called the sheriff's office. Told them the property was unsecured and that given the arrest, they might want to send someone over. While I waited, I stood near the shed just out of sight. Then I saw him, a man, maybe mid-50s, balding, wearing a ratty windbreaker and holding a cardboard box filled with papers. He froze when he saw me, tried to cover the box with his arms. You live down the road? He asked casually. Yeah, I said. And you are? I'm her cousin. Just grabbing some stuff. Sheriff said it was okay. Funny, I said. They told me no one was cleared to enter. His jaw twitched. You calling me a liar? I'm calling them back. That was all it took. He dropped the box, sprinted to the back of the house, and peeled out in an old pickup so fast he kicked up a storm of gravel. No plates, no name. By the time the deputy arrived, the guy was long gone. The deputy stepped into the shed and looked down at the mess the guy left behind. He whistled low. Sir, he said, you might have just uncovered something big. He picked up a manila folder labeled Community Financial Oversight Board. I blinked. That's not real, is it? Nope, he muttered, flipping it open. This lady was creating fake boards, mailing fake tax notices, and collecting illegal payments from half the neighborhood. He pulled out a few sheets. Look at this. Fake letterhead, fake signatures, threatening people with property liens if they didn't pay made-up HOA fines. My stomach turned. So this wasn't just a Karen power trip. This was a scam, the deputy nodded. And not a small one either. We've had similar complaints in 2 other counties. Same MO woman poses as head of a resurrected HOA, mails out bogus citations, collects payments from folks too, confused or embarrassed to fight back. And that guy? I asked. Accomplice? We'll run his face through traffic cam data. Could be part of a larger ring. That night, Anna and I sat on the porch, sipping tea. Too wired to sleep, you know, she said. If she hadn't tried to barge in again, she might have gotten away with it. I nodded slowly. Yeah, if you hadn't stood your ground, she could have walked right through that door and planted whatever she needed to frame us. Over the next week, 4 neighbors came forward. All had received phony maintenance bills. One had even paid over, now $200 after being threatened with a property seizure. Janice had scammed people, intimidated them, lied to their faces while smiling like she was doing them a favor, but justice caught up. Eventually, charges were filed: fraud, impersonation of a public official, criminal trespassing, mail fraud, and conspiracy. The guy from the shed? Turned out he wasn't her cousin. He was an ex-code enforcement officer who'd lost his license 5 years ago, and they'd been running this scam together. It's wild how fast someone's fake little kingdom can come crashing down. Now, the mountain is quiet again. No more pink notices, no more inspections. Just pine trees, the rustle of squirrels, and a porch that we built free of interference, and finally, free of Janice. If you think karma got her just right, hit that like button, leave a comment that says justice served, and don't forget to subscribe. Because if you think this was wild, wait till you hear what showed up in her mailbox the day after her arrest. But that's a story for next time.